Really weird. I did not intend to start this. It's supposed to be starting in a few minutes, but I am going to go ahead and just start anyway because this is frustrating and it is getting late. So, all right, guys, what's going on? This is Peter Lim of MNN. This update comes to you a bit late just because I've been very, very busy and tired and sleepy, and so it was hard to just keep up. What can I say? I don't think many of you will join this live stream. If you do, thank you so much. If you don't worry at all. I hope this is going okay. And I'm just gonna get straight to it. Oh, hey, what's going on, Yoshi? So I want to make this quick because, to be honest, I worked all day. I walked my dog. I am sleepy as hell. Hi, Ellen. What's going on? All right, guys. So this update. Hey, Ken. What's going on? This update is to update you, which most of you probably have already seen the set list. You've seen photos. You've seen a lot of different things. But this is just to, hey, what's going on, Richard? Hello, J Music fan. Ronnie, what's going on? This is the Sapporo edition spinoff update, and that happened 2 days ago. Today is Tuesday night in Japan. It happened Sunday night over in Hokkaido. It was actually really, really cold that day. If I'm not mistaken, I think I even heard that there was a little bit of snow. Whereas here in Tokyo, like today, it's like mid 70s. So Sapporo and the actual venue, the name is called Penny Lane 24. This was a place that I attended last year. Was it roughly around the same time? No, actually, that was closer towards Misa's birthday. Although Misa's birthday was at Otaru. This was in Sapporo, Penny Lane 24. Capacity 500 standing, which is pretty small for Band-Maid these days. It's a really good sized venue. Last year when I was there, hey, what's going on, Haru? How are you? Last year when I was there, I was dead front in the center, right in front of Akane. I could see her pretty much the entire show. Like, just if I just went like this to kind of like off to the side from Miku. Um, but I wasn't there this time. I had applied for Fukuoka because I thought I would attend or could attend. It was just too tough with my dog and other things. With Hokkaido on a Sunday night, I thought there's just no way I could come back in time for work. And you know how it goes. Sometimes you have to work to make money and make a living and have a place to live. So that's that. Now, this time around, the previous spin-off was done by Misa and Akane, the set list. This time around, it was Miku and Kanami. And I think, as you guys know, those are two very different sets of pairs. Misa and Akane tend to be the more sentimental, the more playful, like they're buds. You want to hang out. What's going on, Peter? How are you? Um, and I think they just have a soft spot for, again, just sentimentality. Whereas I think, even though, of course, Kanami and Miku are both soft-hearted as well, which we've seen numerous times. They're the ones who are definitely much more towards world domination. If you had to choose between those five girls, Kanami and Miku, I'd say, in their own rights, in their own ways, with their own set of skills and abilities, they have their eyes set on the future. Kanami is all about constant evolution, and she has been since probably day one, as far back as I can remember, when I did a deep dive into Kanami's her tweets. And even from like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I would just see these constant comments. That noise you're hearing down is my dog drinking water. He really likes the attention somehow. He just knows. But Konami would constantly be talking about these things of getting better, becoming a guitar hero, improving herself, you know, being inspired by all these things. And Miku, of course, initiated all of it for world domination and wanting to conquer and to really achieve all these things. So, most obviously, the set lists are actually quite different from Fukuoka and Sapporo. And there are actually a few crossovers, mainly because you have a few songs off of, actually, quite a few songs off of Epic Narratives, which were on both set lists. But then those, and then also from Conqueror, surprisingly. Is it surprisingly? I think so. But let's just get into it. You'll kind of see the difference. I'll read off both of them. Since it's live stream, I can't put it up, but you'll see the difference. Okay, so this is the spin-off Okyuji at Pain Lane 24. This was Kobato Miko and Kanami Minto Tono. Shambles, Dilemma, a nice Conqueror throwback. HGK, which is always a nice melodic beauty. Afterlife, again from Unseen World. And then Screaming, which is nice. I think I heard Screaming last year. I heard Screaming. Have you heard Screaming lately? Somewhere around your neighborhood, for whatever reason. Maybe someone was in trouble. Yeah, so those were the first five songs. Then they had an MC time. You had next Unleash into a Miku and Konami battle. I'm curious what sort of battle that was. A battle of cuteness? A battle of height? But I am curious what sort of musical interplay there was between those two. Then you had Carry On Living, which is probably as far back as they actually no, there were actually a couple more. But it's one of their older songs now. Whereas the majority of it is much more towards, again, evolving much more towards the later albums, starting from Conqueror, but there are just a handful, a few. Go back a little bit further. So Carry On Living is one of them. Then you had Hate with a battle. You had Sayonakidori and Brightest Star, since this was partially produced by Miku with Kanami. So you have two back to back from the Pigeon, which is nice. Then you had Get to the Top, which is the instrumental, and then Omachi Nighttime. After that, you had Isle, Sense, Protect You, Mirage, which is always nice to hear, and that's actually on both set lists. So I guess both of them really, yeah, I guess everyone really likes Mirage. It's a great song. I love it. Yeah, I really love Misa's bass parts in that song. I really love just the riffs and just the mood that Konami created with that song. But Mirage, and then you had Memorable, and then Forbidden Tale, sort of the prog song of prog songs for Band-Maid up to this point. Hey, what's going on? What is up, Flack Checker? Have you checked out some Flax recently? Then you had MC, the next MC time, and then the last spurt. The five songs were No God, Rene, which I will always love, amazing. Domination, Choose Me, and then Blooming, which is pretty interesting. For songs, and a lot of the set list was more towards the newer albums, but then you close out with these oldies with Domination, Choose Me, and Blooming. Yeah, that's the kind of it's interesting. I think that's an interesting way to end it. What do you guys think about that? So that was Sapporo, okay? Once again, real quickly. Shambles, Dilemma, HGK, Afterlife, Screaming. Unleash, Carry On Living, Hate. Sayonakidori, Brightest Star, Get to the Top. Then you have Isle, Sense, Protect You, Mirage, Memorable, Forbidden Tale, No God, Rine, Domination, Choose Me, and then Blooming. So that's definitely on the newer side of things, I would say. I mean, again, the majority of that set list is Conqueror onwards. Again, with a lot of songs coming off of Epic Narratives. You have Shambles, Brightest Star, Get to the Top, Protect You, Memorable, Forbidden Tale. Oh, only six. But that's still a pretty good number. And then I'm gonna read real quickly the set list from Fukuoka. It starts with Rine, Unleash, Giovanni, Breaks My Heart, I missed that one, Moratorium, Amisa Akane Solo, I Still Seek Revenge. Then you have Warning, Balance, Liberal, Hide and Seek, and then the one that's really killed me was Decided by Myself. That is a song in the past 6, 7, what year is this? 6 years, 6.5, that I've not heard yet live. I think many people haven't. So that just destroyed me knowing that was played. Black Hole, Honkai, Wonderland, Anemone, Mirage, Brightest Star, Get to the Top, Forbidden Tale, and then Dice, Dilemma, Influencer, and Protect You. So they definitely, both of them, like drew from the newer albums, but I would say that Misa and Akane definitely went more towards nostalgic with some of their song choices, and songs that I connect with much more. So I'm curious, if you had to choose between those two, between Sapporo and Fukuoka, which one would you choose? For me, hands down, it is Fukuoka, but it may be different with you guys. So what do you guys think? Um, Anemone, yes, absolutely. Always wonderful to hear. And with a capacity of 500, it's really nice being in kind of more of a packed venue with Band-Maid. One of the things that I've become very, very familiar with, not yet totally comfortable with, um, because it can be so tight and cramped and sweaty. My dog really is trying to get my attention right now. Sorry. But I'm used to going to like a 200 like a 200 capacity venue, 150, and it is, can you not do that right now? No. So 500 is pretty comfortable. That's a pretty good size for me. But for Bandmate, again, it's a tighter spot, and I think I would say probably one of my single best OQGs last year was at Richard. What was it? What was it? You spotted me on that one. Matsuyama? I think Matsuyama. I think that was, what was it? Is that I can't remember. That was like a 300 capacity venue. This is where I was like bantering a lot back and forth with like Miku. It was really fun. Anyhow, Takamatsu. I know Matsu was in there. Takamatsu. Um, Fantastic show. Fantastic show. That was for Konami's birthday. Somebody fainted? Okay. I can't I can't imagine fainting at a bandmate show unless it's just like dehydration. But out of excitement, that's interesting. That's a first that I've heard. So yeah, that was Sapporo. Really cold weather. I'm sure it was hot as hell still inside, and it was done a day before Miku's birthday, which was and is now yesterday, so the 21st. So not only was it their last spin-off of the year, and I'm not sure if this will be like the last spin-off ever. I would, they're kind of on a roll with it. They're kind of on a roll with the spin-off, right? So I wonder if they'll try to continue that as a tradition for next year, or if they'll kind of just like let it go. That was last year, and we'll move on, which they've done, right? Like with Band Michael. I can't foresee. Hello, Nick. I can't foresee Band Michael, for example, coming back. But then they'll do that to surprise you too. So, but they like to move on. That's what Band-Maid does. They like to move on. Even though we clamor for some of their older stuff, right? Sometimes. So that is what happened. But Miku's birthday, and there's really nothing too lavish, and no really, what's going on, Sam? And not too many pictures. There's only one quick group shot of the live show rather than sort of the behind the scenes where they're all gathered together and making funny faces. So none of those photos. Hence the thumbnail, which was Miku and Konami wearing the spin-off t-shirt. But yeah, I'm not sure. They seem busy these days. There's a lot of promotion going on with radio shows. It's like Psyche and Miku, and then it was Psyche and Konami, or was it Miku and Konami? Again, I've been very busy, I've been very tired, and it's hard to remember these things as well as I used to when it was always only Band-Maid. It was an easier time. Psyche and Konami, thank you so much. Yeah, that's I thought that I had seen that. So there's a lot of photos of that. Now with the spin-offs done, they have 4 shows left. And let me just get to that really quickly. So you have the ZEP tour, which is starting November 2nd in Aichi. Then November 3rd, that's the following day, that's at Osaka. Both of those I can't attend just because it's further away and it's just tough, especially having my dog around. And then they'll be taking a little break for a couple of weeks. And then you have November 25th and then November 26th. Both of those will be in Tokyo. Both of those shows are weekdays. And again, I can't attend because of work. And believe it or not, I just can't get up and walk out. That's just kind of how it works. So I am officially done with Band-Maid shows for this year. I have no idea what next year will bring. But we'll find out, I'm sure, possibly a little bit on the 25th, and then possibly all of it on the 26th, which is kind of how they do things whenever there's a back-to-back thing. They did that with Shibuya Line Q when they performed, I believe it was it the 12th and the 13th? Or was it the 13th and the 14th? I forget those. It was back in 2020, right before COVID. So there's definitely, for sure. As to what, I'm sure there's a big venue that has Band-Maid's name written on it in the future, and they're gonna let us know which venue. Will it be Budokan Revenge this time next year? I think it's a strong possibility. I don't see why not. Even though they have now performed at larger venues, it's still on their list, and Budokan is still a name. Some of the best have played there, and it's just that name recognition. So I do see them, if not next year, the year after, but I think next year is a pretty strong possibility for them to do their Budokan Revenge. Then you have overseas, because there was a lot less that happened compared to last year. Again, there's a lot less this year. So even with like, Eminem was known for its tattoos, right? All tatted up. But, you know, what can we do? There was no 10th anniversary, it's 11th anniversary. It was E2's. But even with the shows this year, it was so much less. And next year now, what's gonna happen? Their album is finally out, their full album after 3 years. So what's gonna happen next? Where will they go? What do they want to accomplish? This year, a lot less shows. There was an emphasis on collaboration and on the upcoming album. Rather than being like way too busy, um, it was a little bit more thought through, a little bit more relaxed. Also, with the change in management to Made It, and I think people have been talking online like, well, some of the same people are working in the management, so then wouldn't it be the same? I would say no, because those people are now under the supervision of the maids. Like the maids have the final say. They're the ones who decide. Do you know what I mean? It's like Elon Musk coming into Twitter. Some of the same people may be working at Twitter X, but it's a different person who's on top. With the maids on top, it changes things, regardless of who else is still working in that capacity, in the same capacity. So that is my thinking, my experience having met and interacted with, I mean, not not flexing, maybe I am, but I've interacted with like over 60 bands at least up to this point. I've interacted and talked to them about doing interviews. I've talked to them about various things. I've talked with specific certain managers of certain bands. And again, like especially in Japan, they defer themselves. They say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we have to ask. Oh, you'll have to talk to our company, to our management." And since the maids are at the top of that food chain, I do think that they decide, regardless of people working under them, even if it's continued on from Platinum, from Pony Canyon, from wherever. So that's my say. But again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I would say Budokan is a strong possibility. I would say overseas, for sure. That's kind of a given. Will they kind of go back to what they used to do, where they would go to the States and they would go to Europe as well? Um, I know Europe, you guys have been really hungry. Hold on. I'm sure they'll be there. Australia, it's been years and years and years. As a Band-Maid cafe admin, being on Twitter, being on social media, I know a lot of you Aussies are just like hurting hard. So, I don't know. Do I think Miku's stepping a little back? Do you think Miku is stepping a little back from the promotion work as she is more in charge? I mean, that is a possibility, but who's to say exactly? I mean, all I know is that the maids are in charge, and with the maids in charge, that really constitutes Miku being at the top of the top. But I know that Miku is smart enough to allow for Saiki to make decisions as well in that capacity. Konami, I don't think is responsible for any of that. She's on the music side completely, and they give that all to her. Akane and Misa, they'll follow. They'll do what needs to be done, and they'll kick ass and do their best doing what they do. But when it comes to making decisions, I would say again, Miku is at the top, and then you have Saiki as well. And of course they'll talk. Of course they'll like come to a decision and agreement. But of course, I would say of course, but they do defer to Miku in terms of what she wants to do. But they do collectively, I'm sure, discuss things. So, but I don't know like the details. I don't. So I can only assume things. I can conjecture. But beyond that, really. So, but yeah. So I think that's about it. You know, Miku's birthday was yesterday, and they had some fun like talk and sure, why not? Why not, Richard? Um, I mean, you have a month to do that. So if you want to go ahead and make that announcement and let people know. And if you want to make it a big thing, I mean, shoot, you can go ahead and promote this on MNN, and then we'll make this a big old thing. Um, so people can win one of your, I don't know, caps or one of your lanyards. I don't know what you have left. Um, but yeah, again, it's been kind of quiet. So even with the girls being really busy, it hasn't really been as like, hmm, they're still busy, but it's a little bit quieter. Yeah, I don't know how if that makes sense. So yeah. But yeah, guys, so that's what's happening. Apologies that this came out a little bit late. I've just been very busy. I did like 6 shows in 9 days. Did photos for a lot of stuff and been editing and been just exhausted. The signed Akane stick. Oh, mine isn't signed, so I can't give that away because it's not signed, so it doesn't actually apply. I do have a pair of Akane's signature sticks. Yes. Yes. Internal stuff, managerial stuff, decision making stuff. Ah, my foot, man. It was getting better. I had been put on stronger meds. And then I think last week's run of shows, something happened, and so it's been swelling up again. Uh, let's not dwell on that, but let's just say that I wish it could be better. And I miss being able to run and jump. Um, the last show that I attended, for those of you who may know this band, Dim Rays, I've been doing photos for them and video for them, like whenever they're here in Tokyo, because they're an Osaka band. And I first met them in Osaka, and they were mentioned to me by Hiro Tajima from J Rock Tours. Thanks, I know, I appreciate that. So I've been supporting them ever since. And during during a moment where I was recording one of their songs, and I was on a step, one of those little ladders, some guy decided to crowd surf and he jumped off from the stage into the crowd. That knocked somebody else back, and then that knocked into me. So I have footage, and I'll post it later on MNN at some point when I have time. I kind of like fell down, and there's footage of me just like tumbling. So good times. But yeah, that I will talk more about at another point. We'll do all of those other shows, all those other bands separately. But that's just kind of the price you pay when you're trying to step into the fire. So, but yeah, other than that, they are worth falling for. They are worth falling for. Um, I did. So that didn't help my foot any either. Let's see. Again, there really isn't that much else going on that I can really talk about with Band-Maid, other than what I just shared. What I can say is that, man, there's just, yeah, you would love to see them again. Me too. And I've seen them a few times already. But there are just so many damn October birthdays. Um, I have a preference for October birthdays just because I'm an October birthday. I just had mine. What day is today? 21, 2. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Um, yes, Rini Live is amazing. Yeah, so it's just a lot of the radio promotions, but they've done that. That's not something new. So they have done that for those of you who are newer to sort of following Bandmade with these things. And also, especially because you have the release of their album, they've really taken over. And again, this isn't new. This is what they've done before. But with Bandmade, like on the back cover of Rolling Stone Japan, then you have the Young Guitar, a few different like publications, a lot of these shows, the release of the Forbidden Tale music video. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of promoting going on, but not necessarily any talk of tours or things beyond that. So I can't really talk beyond that. Just kind of scrolling through here to see if there's anything else new, see if I missed anything. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be. Just the radio shows, which is a lot of them, not new. Publications, which you've done, it's not new. And then their upcoming Zep tours since the spin-offs are over. So yeah, I think that is that. Any quick questions or last things you want to say to me or ask or talk about? Let's do this for maybe another 10 minutes, yeah? I don't want this to go too long. Um, and then it got quiet. And I can hear the tinnitus in my ear. No, it's not tinnitus. Hopefully not. All right, guys. Then I guess I'll stop it here. I really appreciate you guys jumping in, joining in. Um, I do realize I'm gonna touch the. How many radio stations did they visit? Oh, geez. October. I was scrolling through. There must have been. I do want to see Mutant Monster. I did hear about that. I did see their video. Yeah, no problem at all, Alan. Thanks for joining in. I always appreciate it when you're around. Sorry, no discussion of Saki this time. um, but there's easily like maybe 8 different photos with different radio shows. If Band-Maid started having babies, would they be baby maids? Who's to say that they haven't already started having babies? Who's that? Right, right. I don't know who that is. Um, yeah, there's easily anywhere from 8 to 10 different radio shows that they've done. Um, and again, keep in mind, Corona, there's a lot of stuff that could have gone on, right? A lot of stuff that could have gone on that we have no idea about. And I think people have this weird assumption like they know what's going on because they've kept track and they know things. But I don't think you do know. I don't think you have to understand Japanese people can be very, very good at keeping private what they want to keep private. And those around them keep that private as well. So don't read into that. Just understand that we don't know everything. Even though people like to go on Reddit and think they know it all, we don't. We don't. What's going on, Eric? How's the banana doing? Uh, yeah, it is. I mean, they have their own lives. It's really interesting because, again, like I've had I've been fortunate enough to interact with a lot of different musicians in the past year, and especially in the past half year since I moved here to Tokyo. And I'll talk with them, and then a lot of conversations start with, "Oh, nobody knows this yet," or, "Oh, this is just kind of this," and you have to say like, "Okay, so I need to just shut the hell up, not ever talk about this again, and just appreciate that I'm being told these things." you know? And so that's kind of how it is. So I really do appreciate more people in bands sharing things with me, letting me know things, what's going on, a heads up on like what's going to happen within the band or other stuff. But it's not for me or my place to share any of that with you guys, even though it would be great for you guys to hear all this stuff ahead of time, but that would quickly diminish and then destroy and annihilate my reputation. So what can I say, guys? I can't share everything that I know with you. And I appreciate that they like to have their own stuff and what goes on. So yeah, anyhow, there's a ton of other stuff that I do want to share at another point. It'll most likely be another live stream. And that live stream, I think people who are strictly into Bandmate won't necessarily be interested in because this is all the talk of the smaller indie rock and metal bands that I've been into for the past year and a half or so. So that includes bands like Mellows, Hades, Dimrays, Nekomeshi 222. I mean, again, all those other bands. So if you're into that, then please stay tuned. And I will share with you things that are coming up. I will share with you things that I'm involved in. I will share with you certain realizations. I will share with you how tired I am and how hard this can be, and how I really wish that I didn't have to have a regular job so I could just, again, do this full time. I'll end with this. Um, it's kind of strange. I was watching a video of Eminem because he released, I guess, a new music video. Um, what was it called? Somebody Save Me. Not not the Smallville. Somebody save me. Not that one. He released a new video, and it was a song and a video about him and his daughters, his family, and his regrets, his inability to deal with his addiction and not give up those things, and to have lost time with his family. And I was watching that, and it just reminds you, like, you really do have to like assertively, aggressively take hold and appreciate the moments that you have with the people around you. um like, you just can't take those things for granted. Like, my dog is right here in front of me, lying down, sleeping, I think, and I can't take him for granted. Some of you may understand that connection with a pet, some of you may not, but for me, like, it's very important. Like, he's kept me sane for a lot of my life, right? um but in general, just people. And I realized that I need to take, not take for granted, I need to take advantage of the time that I have now. And then today I was having a little talk with, like, my work coworkers, and um one of my coworkers wants to live until he's 100. I don't need to live until I'm 100 at all, regardless of what new technology there is or science. I'm fine with, leaving relatively, maybe the next 20, 30 years. I don't have to live that long. But I was saying, and I was reminded, and I just said, I I can't die yet. Because one of my coworkers was saying, "Oh, Peter, he's fine with just leaving anytime, right?" I'm like, "No, not yet." Because what I'm doing right now is very important to me, and I feel like what I'm doing actually matters. And I feel like what I'm doing makes a difference. And I feel like what I'm doing can help people and is helping people. And I only want to continue doing that work. And so, what I do want to say to you guys is, I appreciate those of you who have been supporting MNN. We're closing in on our 2-year anniversary. It's November 4th, if I'm not mistaken, roughly around that time. Um, I know we had a slight, I don't know if mishap is the word. Um, we had a slight moment. Um, but for those of you who have stayed really just supportive and helpful, I really thank you guys for that. And we try. We don't always succeed, because we are people and we do screw up and we don't always have the best judgment. And for those of you who have not judged us on that, I thank you for that. Um, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be able to be here and to share these things with you. And I want you to know that I do hold this, whatever this is, I hold this very precious. And this community of, fans, of people who love music as much as I do, who want more of it as much as I do, and who want to see their bands succeed and to really prosper and to experience as much success as is possible. It means a lot. And that means a lot to me that you guys have that heart and that attitude, and that you guys have been helpful, allowing me to live out, I think, a lot of my dreams. Um, because if it weren't for you guys, then again, I couldn't really relay this to anyone. So since you guys are the benefactors of these bands, and I'm really just kind of conduit of some sort, I'm kind of just a little channel to little pass it along. But even in that capacity, I'm really grateful. So yeah, for me, whether it's Band-Maid or it's a band that you guys have never ever heard of, and maybe you don't even want to, I'm just glad that you guys are here, to be there for this. And I think along the way, as we pick up and find these precious gems and I can pass them along to you, you never know when some of these gems will just turn out to be stars, and really just shine as bright as they can and really make a difference. Oh, thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's how Band-Maid started, right? Band-Maid was really just sort of a little glimmer, a little, hopeful wish, a dream, and it became something more because people supported it. And all it took was one moment for something to really blow up, but the potential was always there. And I think a lot of the bands that I encounter and that are people that I speak with, like that potential is always there with these bands. And again, some of them have more potential than others. Some of them are more musically gifted, but also, again, they create things that are able to connect more with certain people than other bands are. Some bands are just off on their own thing, which is wonderful too. I love that. Um, and at least they're expressing and at least they're creating, and that's what artists want to do. But I just really am happy to be in a place where I can experience that, and hopefully I can not only help the fans who want more, I can help the bands who want more, and um, yeah. So that's my quick little spiel. Sorry that kind of went a little windy windy, but thank you guys so much. And MN, we will do our best. SJ has been very busy with a lot of stuff, just his own personal life and things going on. So I know that he is going to be up and ready to take care of all all the Zep tour updates. I think so, but I'll confirm with him before I say so. But I think so. So thank you in advance, Scott. And for everyone else, I'm sure I will see you somewhere at some point in Japan. When are we finishing the album review? Has enough time passed to kind of make light of this? Um, we had finished. We had finished both. Um, it was cut in half, but it really was just sort of one night that we talked. Um, but based on people's reactions, we felt it was safer just not to. Again, I know there are a lot of people that are very supportive, who are very understanding where we're coming from. They know our heart towards Band-Maid. But I think there were enough people who took it, and I think understandably to an extent, understandably, they found it. Um, I don't know if hurtful is the word, offended is the word. I don't know what quite the word is because people took it differently, but we decided not to. Um, I will let you know that Scott and Destiny, they liked the album more than I did. They liked the album more than I did. I liked the album, and there were spots and moments like I just gushed over the one, and to me that's a fabulous, fabulous song, and I will like cry and bawl my eyes out when I hear that in a live venue. If I can hear the one at Budokan next year, then ah, like really the heavens will open wide. Um, and again, I think, yeah, I don't want to go into detail, but let me just say that we'll just leave it as it is. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Again, some of you guys are can be a little rough, but again, you guys may think that we're a little bit rough too. So we'll just leave it at that, right? Anyhow, um, MNN, this is Peter. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I can just say, I can just tell you what I think, because I can't speak on behalf of Scott and Destiny of like their specific thoughts and their reasons. What I can tell you is that I absolutely adore that Bandmaid wants to evolve. Like that is, I think that's wonderful. That's amazing. I think that's not unique because it does happen. There are bands who have that attitude, but their commitment to it is really something. But what I can tell you, yeah, it's my favorite too. Um, but what I can tell you is that to my ears and with the tones that I like, yeah, I'll just say yeah. Um, but I love evolution. I don't mind it. And if I can't fully jump on board, so be it. You know, that's not going to stop Band-Maid, and it shouldn't stop Band-Maid. Band-Maid will continue on. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, again, it's it's a big world. There are a lot of people, and there's a lot of opinions, and there's room for it. Um, there's always room for it. So yeah. It is very subjective. It's like for me to say, "Oh, this is spicy," and someone says, "What? That's not spicy." Well, it is for me, you know? And that's just kind of how it is. Music is incredibly subjective. Um, I don't know. Let's just end this. I don't This could be a whole long thing, and as live streams can go, it can go on and just wander a lot. But I wanted to keep this a little bit shorter, just to keep this mainly on Band-Maid, with their show, with Miku's birthday, and with what's coming up as far as we know. But we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys again. I will be back probably this weekend because Hades guitarist Kuya is having her birthday party show on Saturday, and then I do have Sunday off, so I'll probably be back for a live stream then, and then we can talk about a lot of stuff at that time. You either love dogs or you're wrong. That's how I feel, but people have different opinions. No problem at all, guys. Thank you guys for being open-minded. Thank you guys for being positive. Thank you guys for being so supportive. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys so much. But I do have some photos to edit. I do have some sleep to get. Man, 4 bloody noses this week? That's not good. It's only Tuesday night, so that's a problem. Tell Hades hello. I will do that. Or you guys tell them hello. They can only get so much from me saying it. You guys go on Twitter, go to your favorite bands, just tell them hi, say happy Halloween, and say that you love them. That's the best you can do. All right, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys again. It is time for me to take off, but you guys have a good one. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, a good dusk, evening, good night, and I will talk to you guys again later, all right? Yes, you can. Whatever you think that means, dress up as me. Guys, see you so much. Now it's time to go. See you. Thank you so much. Bye guys. Peter from Eminem. Peace.